These people are practicing the occult.
Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein is expected to appear in federal court in Lower Manhattan tomorrow,
Using trauma-based mind control to release spirit energy.
How serious are these charges against Epstein?
Is Epstein going to cooperate? Because back in the day when he signed the non-prosecution agreement, it also protected co-conspirators.
The emails say these girls had psychic powers.
Agents hauled out multiple bags of evidence from disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Who knows what type of people may be involved in this conspiracy?
And he also had a lot of girls there all the time.
Great point. This guy's a billionaire with a lot of wealthy and high-profile friends. Should those people be worried about Epstein taking them down with him, Alex?
Jeffrey Epstein went from teacher to Wall Street to uber wealthy.
There's a secret religion being played out right before your eyes, and they're all in on it. And let me tell you that this goes deeper than you could ever imagine. This is some nasty, wicked stuff. And we'll tell you what we can and show you the connections to the mystery religion of today. There is a spiritual wickedness in high places. Well, hello, friend. Thank you for watching today's episode of Spiritual Wickedness in High Places. Today, we are going to speak about the Lifetouch photography controversy. Lifetouch photography. So please go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you are new, and smite your like button if you appreciate this content. I'm going to tell you, we all remember Picture Day as kids. I don't know about you. I went to public school my whole life, graduated from a public school in Metro Atlanta from Gwinnett County, Georgia. I'm a product of the Gwinnett County public school system, of which many people in my family have worked for. And I always remember Picture Day, where our friends got together and dared us to wear something crazy, or to get a crazy haircut, or to make a funny face or something like that. And of course, all these beautiful pictures of the children were on the wall of the house, and of course, it was always a big day. And I remember my first grade picture. I actually had a mullet in that picture. I looked pretty good in a mullet, man. Business in the front, party in the back. And but what do you expect for a kid from Georgia in the early 80s or late 80s, actually? So, but Lifetouch photography has come up under some serious scrutiny and a major controversy involving this company, because they had ties to Epstein, allegedly, or so the internet rumors are. I'm going to show you the facts about this, and we're going to explore this together and just see, what the truth is. But of course, this is Lifetouch photography. You see all this stuff here, and you know what this is. They actually had to put a statement on the very tip top of their webpage, and I'll show you what that says here in just a moment. But let me read this article to you. This is out of Lexington, Kentucky. Kentucky Education Group suspends Lifetouch photography services amid Epstein link speculation. I mean, what a time to be alive, y'all. This is nutty stuff here. It says right here in the article, the Kentucky Education Development Corporation has suspended all current and future use of Lifetouch photography services pending a thorough investigation into safety concerns. According to reporting by the Associated Press, some school districts have dropped plans to use Lifetouch after social media posts linked the company back to Apollo Management Group. Apollo's former CEO and billionaire investor Leon Black reportedly had ties to Epstein, which he did. KEDC announced the suspension in a news release citing recent concerns surrounding Lifetouch, a national school photography vendor that has provided services within education settings. The organization said it made the decision out of abundance of caution and in alignment with our commitment to student well-being. Our children are the heart of everything we do. Their safety and well-being rise above every partnership, every contract, and every operational decision. We will always act with care, transparency, and urgency when it comes to protecting the students entrusted to our schools. KEDC serves multiple school districts across Kentucky and said it is actively monitoring developments while communicating with member districts as more information becomes available. And the organization emphasized that student safety and protection remains its highest priority and that it remains committed to maintaining partnerships that reflect the values, expectations of educators, families, and communities. In addition, Lifetouch addressed what it calls misinformation about student privacy and data protection practices amid recent concerns about how student images are handled. Lifetouch said it shares student images only for school records and to allow parents or guardians to purchase them. The company also provides free Smile Safe cards to families through its partnership with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which can be used with law enforcement if a child goes missing. The photography company addressed concerns about its ownership structure, stating while it is owned by private equity firm Apollo Management Group, no past or present Apollo board members or investors have ever accessed student images for any purposes. This includes Apollo's original co-founder and former CEO Leon Black, who left the company in 2021. So let me explain to you just basically, I've read all that. Let me explain to you the controversy here is that Leon Black, who owned the, he was one of the, I guess he was the owner of the Apollo management group, Apollo Global Management, which is, this is how these ultra billionaire people do. They buy these management groups, and underneath all these management groups, like it'll own like 50 companies. Well, his company bought that company, and that company owns Lifetouch Photography, at least one of the many companies that it owns. And so because Leon Black had such a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and he owned the company that owned Lifetouch Photography, the question was, you know, and by the way, Lifetouch Photography being like, has everybody's kids, like a picture of everybody's child virtually, at least probably into the millions of children. All these kids' pictures are on this hard drives owned by this company, which is owned by this company, which is owned by this man who is like up to his eyeballs in Jeffrey Epstein. And so people had a large question there saying, does Jeffrey Epstein have access to the photos of my children? And I think that's a fair question. I think that's a right question. And you have to put this into perspective. Like, Jeffrey Epstein was a part of a demonic, satanic, child-sacrificing cult. And you're holding hands with him and buddy-buddy with him, and you own the largest depository and the company that takes pictures of everybody's children. And that makes us wildly uncomfortable. And as I'm reading here in this article for you in the Lexington area, there are groups that are suspending their connections with Lifetouch Photography over all this stuff, and it's quite an interesting story, to put it that way. So let me just walk you through the actual facts of this, and you see some of the things we're talking about here. Okay, this is the Department of Justice website. This is Epstein Library. You go type in a man named Leon Black right there, and you will get 8,449 results. I would say he slightly was connected with Jeffrey Epstein. And I'll just show you a picture of who he is, Leon Black, right there. And this is a Bloomberg article. Let me read this to you. Leon Black, the billionaire co-founder of Apollo Management Group, had a multifaceted relationship with Epstein spanning from the mid-1990s until 2018. This included social interactions, financial advisory services, and personal advice, as detailed in court documents, emails, and investigations released over time, including recent 2026 Department of Justice drops. Black has consistently denied any knowledge or involvement in Epstein's criminal activities. He knew. Everybody past 2018 or 2008 knew. What in the world? How could you not know? It was all public stuff. And an independent review commissioned by Apollo's board concluded that Black paid Epstein for legitimate tax and estate planning advice, and no evidence of Black's awareness of Epstein's crimes. I have a hard time with that, but that's okay. If that's what you want to believe, that's fine. Y'all do whatever you want. So he's basically saying, I had no idea that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in, creating a super hybrid race of children and buying a ranch in New Mexico and wanting to impregnate 20 women at a time. And I had no idea that he was, taking underage girls, from hither, thither, and yon, and servicing other billionaires with these children. I had no idea that's what was going on. I just happened to own this group here, and I just happened to own the Apollo, be the co-founder of Apollo Global Management, which happens to own the companies that own Lifetouch Photography. I have no idea, and what a thing. But here we go. Let's check that, shall we? I mean, here we go. This is a CNN article from 2023. Leon Black agrees to pay $62.5 million to avoid Jeffrey Epstein-related lawsuits in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Yikes. So in 2021, he says, I had no idea that what this man was doing. 2023, he's paying all this stuff. Billionaire investor Leon Black struck a multi-million-dollar settlement with the government of the U.S. Virgin Islands to avoid any legal claims tied to a Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation. Oh my goodness! I mean, for a billionaire, this is like saying, "Hey, you were somehow strangely involved in this man's life, and he's doing that. Won't you pay us $62 million and there won't be any legal problems for you?" I mean, and by the way, you have to understand, like $62.5 million for this guy would be like you and I, normal people writing a $500 check and it goes away. Like that's what it would be for this man who is uber wealthy to write that check. According to a settlement document obtained by CNN, Black agreed in January to pay the Virgin Islands $62.5 million in cash. In exchange, the Virgin Islands released Black from any current and future legal claims related to Jeffrey Epstein. Basically, he paid a get-out-of-jail-free card. Apparently, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, when you're involved with Epstein, your get-out-of-jail-free card costs $62.5 million. That's insane. A portion of Black's cash settlement, $15 million, will be established as a trust fund to sponsor projects such as counseling programs and mental health services, according to the document. As publicly reported, Mr. Black engaged and made payments to Jeffrey Epstein for legitimate financial advisory services, which, based on everything now known, he very much regrets. Whit Clay, a spokesman for Black, told CNN, consistent with settlements of other major U.S. banks, Mr. Black resolved the USVI's potential claims arising out of the unintended consequences of those payments. There is no suggestion in the USVI settlement that Mr. Black was aware of or participated in any misconduct. How could you not be aware? I mean, like, I remember, 2015? I remember. I mean, like, it was a long time ago. It was before kind of YouTube wiped, they wiped all the conspiracy stuff off there. And back then, YouTube was a wild west of stuff. I mean, it was almost like what Rumble is now. I remember there was a bunch of Sandy Hook documentaries up on YouTube at that time, and they kind of just wiped the slate clean and try to clean up the platform a little bit. But I do remember. I mean, well before 2021, it was all over the internet that there was this guy named Jeffrey Epstein who had an island, and movie stars went there. And that Bill Gates had some weird connections there. I mean, I remember that 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I knew that this stuff was happening. Like, I made God's Millstone in 2021, and I had heard about it for a long time before 2021. So I have a very difficult time believing that Leon Black had literally no clue. No clue. whatsoever, none at all, that Jeffrey Epstein was kind of a creep. Y'all can say what you want to. I just, that's me. I have a hard time saying that you had no indication. I just don't believe that. No. Okay. But whatever. A lawyer said it, so it has to be true. Black has faced a number of accusations and lawsuits over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. He has been publicly accused of rape in 3 lawsuits. Black has denied these allegations, and his attorney has called one of the accusations categorically false and another full of vicious and defamatory lies. The 3rd suit was dismissed by a state judge, but Black has been plagued by his connection to Epstein. And by the way, you understand when these lawsuits like that happen, basically it's like whoever has more money wins. In some cases like that, allegedly. But Black has been plagued by his connection to Epstein since the disgraced financier was arrested in 2019 on federal charges of all that. Epstein died by suicide that year. What a mess that is, man. And so there's a lot of connections. There's a lot of, I mean, they were buddy, man. And let me read this to you. Basically, how it works is that Lifetouch is a subsidiary of a company called Shutterfly. Y'all know what Shutterfly is, okay? Shutterfly is, if I remember correctly, it's just like a, they'll print your photos online and that kind of stuff. So there you go. That's on there. Lifetouch is a subsidiary of Shutterfly, big photography company, and Shutterfly was purchased by the Apollo Management Group in 2019 in September, and Leon Black is the co-founder of the Apollo Management Group. So therefore, Leon Black, who's up to his eyeballs in Jeffrey Epstein, practically owns Lifetouch Photography, which is going into every school in the United States of America and taking pictures of kids. And he actually stepped down in 2021. And so this man is all over the place, whatever. Now, I'll tell you this, okay? Let's go to Lifetouch's own website and let's just see what they have to say about this. Our commitment to student privacy, this is a response to the allegations of being in the Epstein files connected with Leon Black and that type of stuff. Here we go. At Lifetouch, student safety goes beyond the camera lens. As a trusted partner to schools for 90 years, we're committed to protecting the privacy and personal information of every student we serve. When Lifetouch photographers take your student's picture, that image is safeguarded for families and schools only, with no exceptions. Lifetouch does not and has never provided images to any third party. Let's hope that's true. Amidst a sea of misinformation, here are the facts. Lifetouch images are shared only for the purposes of school records and to allow parents or guardians to purchase them. Additionally, as part of our decades-long relationship with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Lifetouch prints smile-safe cards free of charge for each student we photograph that families can use with law enforcement if a child goes missing. Lifetouch follows all applicable federal, state, and local data privacy laws, including the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. In fact, Lifetouch was the first school photography company to sign a voluntary enforceable privacy pledge, reaffirming our deep commitment to protecting school communities. Lifetouch never shares, sells, or licenses student images to train AI models. That's interesting. Including large language models or facial recognition technology. Lifetouch has never provided images for such purposes to any third party. Funds managed by subsidiaries of Apollo Global Management are investors in Shutterfly, the parent company of Lifetouch. Neither Apollo nor its funds are involved in the day-to-day operations of Lifetouch, and therefore no one employed by Apollo has ever had any access to student images. Lifetouch is not named in the Epstein files. The documents contain no allegations that Lifetouch itself was involved in or that student photos were used in any illicit activity. We value the trust you put in us to safeguard your students' images, and we are proud to help families across the country preserve these milestones. And so, I think that's a good statement. I think that's fair. I guess the only thing to do now is just to take their word for it, and whatever. But I tell you, I as a parent, And as just a decent human being, some would debate that, I guess, but as a decent human being, I find that to be alarming. I really do. The man who owns the company is up to his eyeballs in Epstein. Now, I'll tell you this. Leon Black has expressed regret multiple times for his association with Epstein. Though he has not necessarily given like a formal apology, he says basically his statements have focused on personal regret over the involvement itself, describing it as a horrible mistake or a terrible mistake while maintaining he had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes at the time and was not involved in any wrongdoing. Oh, boy. What a story. What a time to be alive. What a mess. But, I mean, you see, when we say everybody's on the list, everybody, like, this goes so far. This Epstein controversy is literally trickles down into almost every facet of Western life. This man was wicked, and he was buddies with all the people at the very top. And this is frightening. Now, I appreciate Lifetouch making that statement. Praise the Lord, I reckon. But the idea that these creeps were involved with a man who had access, or owned rather, everybody's pictures, everybody's kids, and he was involved with all these big creeps, these Moloch-worshiping, Ashtoreth-worshiping satanic freaks. That's enough to make you nervous, don't you think? But at the same time, who am I to say anything? I'm just a guy over here with a Bible and a computer and the ability to do a little bit of research. There we go. This is Spiritual Wickedness in High Places, friend, and we pray that God has helped you and gave you some information and strengthened you. And we pray that if you found this information helpful, that you would subscribe to this channel. And please do us a favor and smite the like button, and that will be a great blessing. Thank you very much, and we will see you guys next time. God bless you.